For over 4 decades, Jack Roush has been an icon in racing, from the National Hot Rod Association to NASCAR. Jack's name is synonymous with success and patriotism.
1, 2, 3.
Why do you want Jack Roush to sign your car?
Because he's Mr. Roush.
He's a legend.
He's a legend.
I got a chance to catch up with the legend himself, and he gave me a personal tour of his collection.
You know, it's a small museum here in the Concord complex for Roush-Fenway. We got a number of things that are reminiscent of sponsors and of some things that happened in my life over a period of time.
You know a little bit about racing. How in the world did that happen?
In high school, I built up out of junkyard pieces my first car. Actually had a wreck, so I was racing against a buddy down a country road.
How old were you then?
I was 16 years old.
And with that inauspicious start, Jack began his lifelong love affair with cars.
Wow. I went to work for Ford as an applications engineer, and then I met a group of people that were drag racing, and from that we went to sports car racing and, of course, eventually NASCAR.
When you were at Ford, is that when you began to develop your appreciation for the Mustangs?
I worked my way through college, and I graduated from college with enough money to buy myself a brand new car.
Okay.
And I bought a Mustang before graduation, was recruited by Ford, went to work for Ford, and 6 weeks later I was working in the Dearborn assembly plant on quality problems they had with vendor
But you
parts.
already had your Mustang.
I already had my car.
Okay.
I worked up a master's degree in mathematics. I wanted to work in research. And Ford made their decision that they had a career path for me in manufacturing. So I said no to that and yes to my drag racing. In 1973, I won the first championship in NHRA, and that meant that I was going to be able to make a career out of that if I wanted to. I did that for another 4 or 5 years, and then we had started the engineering business in Michigan, and I decided to quit racing, and then Ford came back as a supplier and wanted me to build engines for road racers in the early 80s. I knew my engineering business was solid, and that was good, and now I'd have a different basis to launch my racing activities from. If we were able to build our own cars, build our own engines, do all of our own parts and things. And then, of course, when I started NASCAR in 1988, we started with Mark Martin, and a few years later we added Ted Musgrave, and then we added Jeff Burton. But I've got 3 Cup teams and 3 nationwide teams, and I've got a drag race team that my daughter runs, and another drag race team that my granddaughter, 9-year-old, runs.
Right.
She runs a quarter dragster.
9-year-old?
9-year-old quarter dragster. And of course my son road races in the SCCA World Challenge Series. So we got close enough to 10 race teams.
Well, I'm guessing not everyone knows about, and that's your appreciation of aviation.
I really wanted to be a pilot, and I wanted to go to pilot training. And as I went through the interview process, they wanted me to ride in the back seat of an F4. They wanted me to be the navigation guy, the ordnance guy. And I said, I want to be the guy up front with his hair on fire. And so because they only offered me initially a chance to be a Wizzo, a rear seat, I made my decision to go to Ford.
Now, you said you had a wreck in this one, so was that when you were just getting started? No,
that was on my 60th birthday. I'd been flying for quite some time. It was a small experimental airplane that was an observation airplane without a closed cockpit. I hit a wire over a reservoir that I was flying over. I was underwater for about 5 minutes. I had a collapsed lung, a broken rib, a femur that was a debris field. My left ankle was turned backwards, and I had a concussion.
Wow, I would say that was injured.
There was the issue was in doubt for the first night.
Yeah, wow, but you made it.
But I made it.
Since you were a child, you've had appreciation for those who serve our country.
Absolutely. We became aware of the Sellers Foundation's effort to bring the memory of the 9/11 tragedy and all the people who lost their lives there to do something worthwhile for the catastrophically injured sailors and soldiers coming back from our conflicts abroad. And as we became aware of that, it was clear that we could draw some attention to the public at large if we would paint some of our race cars with their schemes building for America's bravest heroes.
In being here more than once and having a chance to speak to Mr. Roush more than once, we know what a true patriot he really is. What we have, it's a car, a race car, that's been covered with flecks of World Trade Center steel. To a true patriot, Jack Roush and Roush-Fenway Racing, through your efforts, sir, we have been able to deliver numerous homes to some of America's bravest. So thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, John. Glad to be part of it today.
Thank you, Mr. Roush.
Tell me about the future. I mean, where do you see things going from now?
When I retire, and I'm closer to the end than I am to the beginning, when I retire, they'll pick up the mantle and they'll keep it going. As I slow down, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It'll be better.